Thank you, Madam Secretary, for accepting our invitation. We are here with Madame Musonda Mumba, who is the Secretary General of the Convention of Wetlands. You are here to celebrate one of your main objectives to be in Costa Rica is to celebrate the World Wetlands Day. What is the importance? What should people know about the importance of the Convention on Wetlands and celebrating this day?
Well, the convention was born 51 years ago, so it's an old convention in principle. And so one of the elements of this convention in 1997, there was an agreement by contracting parties that we should select a day, which turned out to be the 2nd of February, to be able to celebrate World Wetlands Day. And in this day, really the purpose is to raise awareness, but to also share experiences of what's happening within wetland ecosystems and what they are, where our food comes from, the water through your tap, where is the source of the water and all of that. And what's exciting about it is that in 2021, this World Wetlands Day finally became a UN day. And that was because the government of Costa Rica championed that through a General Assembly resolution, and that's fantastic. And that's why now it's important, because all the countries of the United Nations system are celebrating World Wetlands Day.
Very good. What do you consider should be the role of Costa Rica in promoting this cause?
The day?
The day and actually the convention.
Okay. You know, Costa Rica has actually been a leader on many accounts by the very fact that they're the ones who presented the General Assembly resolution for the UN Day. But even before that, in terms of sustainability, we've seen Costa Rica championing issues related to human rights and the environment, the human rights to a healthy environment, but also championing issues related to nature positive economies and all that work. And so Costa Rica, in effect, I think it's important that Costa Rica also shares its experiences within the region and beyond the region, because I think there's a lot that the world can learn from Costa Rica. And what's amazing about Costa Rica, it has ecosystems inland, freshwater ecosystems that now border from the inland to the sea, and then mangrove ecosystems. For example, just now whilst I'm visiting here in Costa Rica, they've just launched the National Blue Carbon Strategy. That in itself is such an amazing accomplishment. What can other countries around the world also do about having good strategies for their mangrove systems in relation to carbon? So for me, this is what's exciting, that Costa Rica provides this leadership, but also it should go beyond just providing the leadership and being able to share its experiences, both good and bad. Because, you know, in life, you have some good lessons and you have some lessons where things didn't work. Also those lessons, so that in principle, other contracting parties within the convention can learn, but also those countries that are not within our convention can learn and can be obviously attracted to be a part of this community.
Talking about other countries, what can other countries on which probably there is no big extensions of wetlands help promoting this cause?
You mean countries that don't have that many wetlands?
Yes.
Okay.
How could they be able to also be useful in this cause?
Yes, and you know what was exciting? In the last conference of the parties that we had, the 14th conference of the parties in Geneva, in November 2022, what was interesting is that there was discussion around small wetlands. You know, a lot of people think that wetlands need to be massive. They don't need to be massive. In fact, in the Sahel or in the Sahara, you have an oasis, which is quite small and providing fresh water. So for me, it's, countries need to be aware that the contribution of these wetland ecosystems sometimes have nothing to do with size. Yes, the size is great, but even the small wetlands, some of them are so specific in terms of the biodiversity, the services they're providing for nature, for people, they're very specific. And so all these wetlands matter. And so for me, it's how do we bring the collective learning, the collective conversation of, this is my wetland type where I live, this is what this wetland does, and this is how it's contributing to my community, and this is how it's contributing to nature. Those lessons and experiences are so important for everyone. And that's why the Convention on Wetlands is where it is today, to begin to bring all those experiences and all those lessons of wetlands. And lastly, but not the least, I also want to say, At the last conference of the parties in Geneva, we also had the wetland city accreditation. So there were cities that got accredited because of the wetlands that go through cities. Kigali is one of them in Rwanda. Sackville is one of them in Canada. We had some cities in China. It's phenomenal because people in cities see the wetland, they see the water flowing, they go cycling along a path or a river and a wetland system, but they're not familiar about the services it's providing. So that accreditation has now brought to the fore and amplified the message of why wetlands matter in our everyday life. And that for me is an important message.
What would you say to Costa Rican citizens? What would be your message? Especially to those who wouldn't really know what is wetlands, what is the importance of them?
You know, what's interesting is I think that everybody in Costa Rica knows something about a wetland, but maybe not the word wetland. For example, if they eat shrimps, if they eat like gambas, it's called, right? If they have gambas or they have, manioc or have plantain, etc. These plants are being watered, like the plantain, watered from wetland systems, agriculture. You open your tap in your house and the water runs, it's coming from somewhere. And this is being a mountainous country. The water is coming either from a wetland or a river system that is connected to a wetland system. Let me just talk about the gambas. So it's a big economy in terms of the tourism. People come here to go and see the sea, look at the mangroves. People have to realize that gambas, depending on the size of it, it's breeding and feeding in a mangrove system, of which a number of these mangrove ecosystems are Ramsar sites under the Convention. So the very fact that they're supporting the livelihood of women, of fisherfolk, of people to provide and supply food to either the tourists or to their communities, etc., protein, which we need in our diet, that is connected to wetlands. So it's also how the message is shared. And so this is why I feel that it's important within the country to raise awareness of things, everyday things that people see, the food, maybe the plant, the wood in your house could have been from a mangrove. People need to see the connection to these systems or wetlands. And we need to bring it home, bring it down. Big words and big scientific words, it's very confusing. I think let's keep it simple and also tell children. Let's educate our children in nursery about the wetlands so they can go in the forest and they can see the streams, they can see what this means, the bog in the mountain. Let us bring it home because these are environments that mean everything to our lives. And when they disappear, we will know that they've disappeared because the impact of that disappearance has severe consequences for us as humans. And that's why for me it's important that everybody is really a part of this journey and they know why the wetland matters.
Thank you, Madam Secretary.
You're very welcome. Mucho gusto.